Best Bets live stream. My name is Rob Dauster. I am not the guy you want to hear from. I cursed Jeff Goodman last night.
You did.
He was doing so well. Then I just blindly followed his picks, and all of a sudden, my losing mojo rubbed off on him. It's awful, Jeff. This is awful. This is terrible.
You suck.
I'm not even going to make picks tonight. I'm just going to.
I felt so good about my swaction, and it wasn't even close. Like Lindsey Hunter just absolutely he played the game of their season, Mississippi Valley, covering against Grambling. The only two picks I think I got were going against SEMO and SIU Edwardsville, 2 and 4. I thought I might have had Texas Tech at the end, but they didn't come through. Duke loses to Miami. That's the big result last night to me. Like, I know people are going to want to talk about Texas Tech, Oklahoma. I don't – honestly, I didn't learn much in that game that I didn't already know.
That was an awful basketball game.
Awful. Atrocious. A Chris Beard special. That's what I call it.
Yeah. That really was.
But what we did learn was that your Duke Blue Devils are still in a little bit of trouble when it comes to the NCAA tournament.
I think they're in more than a little bit of trouble. They are currently, as it stands at this very moment, they are 7-6 overall. They are 66th in the net, right? Oof. They are 0-3 against quad 1 opponents.
Wow.
They are 2-2 against quad 3 opponents, meaning that right now they are 1 game over 500. They have no quad 1 wins. They have 3 quad 2 losses. That is bad. That's like something
not
you see profile from the Atlantic 10.
It's really ugly. I mean, really ugly. Are they ahead of Kentucky now in the net? What's the Michigan State is 96.
Yeah, and that's a home loss for Duke. Like, it's crazy to think that, like, one of the reasons why Duke is in trouble and in danger of missing the NCAA tournament is because they lost to Michigan State, but that's exactly where we are right now. That should put everything into perspective when it comes to whether or not Michigan State is going to make the NCAA tournament.
Kentucky's 74, by the way. So Duke is at least in the net a little bit in front of Kentucky, 8 spots. Then you got Michigan State trailing both of them. Like, who would have thought? I mean, seriously, who would have thought you realistically, with 2/3 of the season done right now, none of those 3 make the NCAA tournament?
I mean, 2/3 of the season done. Outside of Duke finding a way to win, here's the thing about Duke. They have 3 quad 1 games left, but 2 of them, like one of them's on the road at North Carolina, and the other one is on the road at, I forget who. There's another top 40 team they play. It might be Syracuse. And then they get Virginia at home. So, like, there's very little chance of them having a great schedule and a great profile, regardless of what happens the rest of the year. Now, that's assuming that they don't lose any more bad games, which, like, they've proven they're very capable of doing. Miami stinks. Miami's 149th in the net. Like, that loss was awful.
That loss killed them.
That loss was awful.
Yeah.
That's going to end up being a sub 150 loss because Miami is just so banged up. They're going to keep losing games.
Oh, no doubt. No, listen, the only thing that's going to save these schools potentially is the fact that is the committee, if they're close, just going to say the hell with it. We need them for ratings.
So I'm looking at the net right now. Is this right? Colgate is 16th?
Yes, because they've only played a few games. Remember, they started late. They've only played a few games, and they're blowing out teams. It's a joke. I mean, they're 7-1. And they're blowing the shit out of teams out. So yes, Colgate right now. And this is my problem with a lot of these analytics things early. And I say this all the time. People they quote Ken Pom. Like Gary Parrish does his rankings solely off Ken Pom. If you look at it, it's like completely. And he starts it too early. Like, you could start it now. Like you said the other day, Ken Pom now isn't nearly as predictive. But man, a month ago, You can't be doing that. Like, to me, it's not even close at that point. Now, some things are pretty good because, again, there is a measure of predictive. And for the most part, we know year in and year out, the same teams are generally at the top. But this year, look at where Ken Pom had Duke a month ago. Look at where he had Kentucky a month ago, right? Michigan State, they were all way too high because he's betting on the fact that those teams year in and year out are always going to be in the top 10 or 15.
All right, so let's talk about tonight's slate. We had a really good game down in Texas. Baylor at Texas in Austin, tipping at 7 p.m. What do you like there, Jeffrey?
Boy, I mean, listen, what I like is, and I don't think you can go against Baylor. Like, I don't think there's any way you can go against Baylor because Texas is still coming off several of their players not being able to play due to COVID protocols. Shaka Smart coming back from COVID, which had hit him pretty hard from the sound of things. And, oh, by the way, Baylor has won every game they played this year, I believe, still by 8 points or more. Their average margin of victory, Robert, 24.8 points. Texas is good. Don't get me wrong, but have they lost a little bit of their mojo here? Like they had it going early. They've lost 2 of their last 3. One to Oklahoma. Again, Oklahoma caught them at the right time, shorthanded. I get it all. But, like, are you betting against Baylor? Are you going to be dumb enough to bet against Baylor? That's what I'm asking you.
Well, I'm torn here because my gut says that Baylor -5, like, it's not enough points. But I haven't gotten anything right in about 17 days now. So I'm like, well, maybe I should just be on Texas because
you just question yourself with every pick you make.
I got to trade myself at this point. Like, I can't. It's impossible. I have absolutely no confidence. I have no confidence. You know what I got? I got the yips. Who was that? Was it Steve Sachs? Remember when Chuck Knobloch couldn't throw the ball from second base?
I remember Steve Sachs. Yeah,
that's me right now. Like, every time I get a ground ball, I'm gonna throw the ball into the third row.
That's a routine ground ball.
It's awful. But yeah, so. The thing about this matchup is that I think Texas, when it comes to personnel and the way that their lineup is built, matches up with Baylor as well as any team in the country.
Yes,
right. They have as many old and good guards as Baylor has. Matt Coleman, I don't think that he's going to be flustered by anybody. Davion Mitchell can climb up in you and make life miserable for you, but again. What Baylor does is they switch everything, right? They make you basically play one-on-one. Like that switching defense they run just takes you out of any offense that you're looking for. And the good news for Texas is, again, they don't really run offense beyond just kind of like high ball screens and space the floor. And you can do that against a switching defense. Like, you can make that work. It's not going to be easy because it means you're probably going to have your point guard going against Mark Vital, which, as we saw the other night against Auburn, is not necessarily ideal, but it's something where, I think Texas can win some of those matchups. And I do think they're good enough defensively to be able to hang with Baylor. Now, the question is, how much time did Jericho Sims and Courtney Ramey miss off the practice court?
Right.
Were they completely isolated? Were they able to get in the gym and work out as long as they were away from everybody else? Shaka Smart coming off of the COVID is hopefully he's feeling better. The good news is, even if it hit him hard, like he doesn't have to go out there and like expend the energy trying to play. Yeah. So if he's a little bit tired, a little bit groggy, like, okay. So I don't know. I think I probably lean towards Baylor in this spot just because like they've done nothing to prove that they aren't going to blow teams out and win by a whole bunch. But
when you take, if anything, the only way I take Texas, I just take the money line. I just take the money line and just say, hey, it's over for Baylor tonight. Like, Texas is going to either beat them or Baylor's going to beat the shit out of them.
You know what I like more than that? If you think Texas is going to keep it close, it means that you think it's probably going to end up being a low-scoring game. Like, the thing about Baylor is they're so good from beyond the arc, and they're so good defensively that if, like, this game gets up into the high 70s, like, I don't know if Texas is going to be able to put up points like that. So if you think Texas is going to be able to keep it close, then I think your out is to probably just take the under and roll with it that way. Which is I think that might be the safer bet, because not only can you hit the bet if Texas like keeps it close the way that we think they're going to, but you also have the added level of security where like Baylor can win by 10, but if it's 75-65, then you've still that under is still cashing. So I think that might be the play in this spot. But again, like, it's going to be a great game.
If
any game on the schedule tonight, it's the one that I have like the least amount of feel in terms of how it is going to end up playing out. So,
Rob, what's the thrill score? I want to know that.
It's thrilling.
Higher thrill score than Iowa, Illinois.
It's way up there. It's in the 80s.
Is it above?
The thrill score is 81.
What was Iowa, Illinois?
Put that into context. Oklahoma, Alabama was 82.6, right? But the thrill score for Illinois, Iowa last Friday was 87.9.
That's ridiculous.
So while
talk to Ken Palm about his thrill score, I don't understand it. I want a complete breakdown.
I for one, am shocked that you don't understand something about analytics and advanced metrics.
Can I invite Ken Palm onto the Best Bets in the morning? He's in Utah, so I don't know if he'll get up that early. But if he did, could we bring him on to explain to me the thrill score?
Yeah, 100%.
Do that
because I want to know. I got to know about the thrill score.
All right.
Actually, like honestly though, like you should one day bring him on to the Goodman and Humble podcast just to.
All right, I'm going to do it. That's going to be our yes. He's going to tutor me.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
I mean, one session is I'm going to buy like a 10. Like when we have my daughter have a tutor for SAT, you buy a block of sessions. Yeah, I'm going to need like a block of like 100, not like 10, not 8. Like 100 sessions. Maybe he'll give me a discount.
The only problem with that is Ken's going to get to like 3 and it's going to be like, fuck, dude, this is not worth it.
Here's your money back. I'll give you the full refund. I cannot deal with your dumbass anymore. You don't get any of this.
All right. So I think that I would probably just lean towards taking the under here, although it has dropped a couple points. It's down to 144.5, but I do think the under is definitely in play.
Right.
I don't have a strong.
I got a shovel in a little bit. So
I know. I do too. So there are 2 lines where I just love the favorite tonight. The first one, you know what it is. What is it? What is it, Jeffrey? What's that first one?
Tennessee.
No. Oh, you have not looked at the slate close enough tonight.
Iowa.
No. Well, I do love Iowa. That's one of them. The other one is Auburn laying 9 at home against who are they playing?
My Georgia Bulldogs.
The Georgia Bulldogs of Fighting Tom Creans.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah.
So there's 2 lines I like in this. I love Auburn laying 9. I mean, they're coming off of they're coming off of a old loss to the number 2 team in the country, where they didn't really play all that poorly and they covered. They're coming home to take on a Georgia team that Jeff thinks is top 5 nationally in the country. And I also love the under in this spot. The reason I love the under in this spot is that the last time Georgia and Alabama played, it was, what was the final? Like 95-77 or something like that. And there ended up being like 80-something possessions in that game. Well, Georgia had just lost. That was their 4th loss in a row. And they changed things after that. They played 5 games since then. The 3 games they've won have all been like high 60s in terms of number of possessions that have been played.
Okay.
2 games they lost were in the low 70s. They haven't had a game crack 72 possessions since that loss to Auburn, which was the last of 4 straight losses. They've won 3 of their last 5. So I think that Tom Crean has made a concerted effort to play slower, to knock it out and run as much, to not be
realizing when you lose 4 straight games, you have to do something different, and you're allowing 83, 94, 99, and 95. Yes, you might want to change something up. You might want to play slower.
Yeah, so I think that they absolutely are. I love the under here. Okay. I love Auburn -9 here. Yeah, so that's where I'm at.
I hate following you, but I feel like you're due. I play by the due theory a lot, and I feel like you are not just due. You are beyond due. You are overdue. Like you're like the woman who's 9 months, like you're like 10 and a half months pregnant right now, ready to pop.
Hey, I'll tell you what, my waistline makes me look like I'm 10 and a half months pregnant. Oh man. All right. So the other line that I love, do you disagree with anything about Auburn there first?
No, I hadn't really thought about that. I hadn't looked at Georgia's totals lately. So you've opened my eyes. You've opened my eyes to the new Tom Crean. I like it.
All right. The other one you mentioned is Iowa laying 10. Like they are going to be pissed off. I don't know if you saw Fran's interview after the game against Illinois, which, by the way, like, he was completely unfairly roasted for that on Twitter. Like,
Norlander didn't. He just reacted right away. So I don't know. It's news. It's news slander at his best. That's what that was.
New slander? Is that what you're saying? Instead of newslander, it's new slander. New slander. Well, what happened with Fran is that the first clip that Nordy saw made it look a lot worse than what it was, because like the guy asked a question, and they cut it off right after Fran said, "I don't know, Chad, you're a smart guy." But then, like, Fran went on to answer. Like, if you look at the whole video, he went on to answer the question, and it was very clear that he was like trying to not criticize the refs by saying, maybe I should draw up more plays to get Luka Garza more free throws. Maybe I just have to find a way to get him to draw fouls and get fouls called against him. And it was very clear he was taking shots at the ref. And so if you look at the whole video and put it all into context, it was actually pretty funny. And
all right, let's move on. Michigan State, Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, but the whole point I went on that rant is that Iowa's going to be pissed. Yeah, right. Michigan State stinks. They don't have anybody inside to deal with Luka Garza. They don't have the perimeter players to put Luka Garza in ball screens. They don't have the perimeter slashers to take advantage of the fact that Jordan Bohannon and all these guys can't guard anyone on the perimeter. So Iowa -10, and I kind of love the Iowa team total here. I can't find that on BetSperts to be able to log that bet. Yeah. To track it, which means that's probably just going to be one more loss that doesn't get thrown on my record on BetSperts. But if you can get the Iowa team total over 83, like, they might score 150 tonight.
See, I like the under. I think Izzo is just going to say, you know what? We know we can't score with you. We're going to take the air out of the ball. Like, I think that's what you have to do here. And you guard the perimeter. You give Luka his 40. And you take away, honestly, you just take away their 3-point shooting and say, the hell with it.
I hear you. I don't think that it matters, because I don't think Michigan State is good enough to execute that the way that you want to execute.
All right, even if, let's say, Iowa scores 80.
I'm saying that Iowa is going to score 84. I don't want the over. I want the Iowa team total.
Right. Or let's say they score 84. Does Michigan State score 72? The total is 155.5. I'm going under. I'm going straight under.
Yeah, I think that I don't mind that. But I want the Iowa team total. The reason why I said that I want the Iowa team total over, not the over, is because, like, I think there's a very real chance this ends up being like a 90 to 60 game.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. All right. What else we got? What else you like? Purdue, Maryland. I don't love it. Maryland's too hard to figure.
Yeah, and Sasha Stefanovic is out. I think, like, if you were going to force me to bet on something there, I think I would probably take Maryland at the points. But, like, I don't want to bet on Maryland. Like, I don't want to do it. What I do like, another road favorite, which is a little bit uncomfortable, but Clemson is playing again tonight. They've been a train wreck.
I know. It looks too easy. It looks too easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't.
Carolina 3.5. It just.
I don't love it. I like the other three bets that I mentioned significantly more, but that is definitely one to look at. I mean, 4 of Clemson's last 5 games have ended up with, like, complete blowout losses. A couple of those were at home.
How have we gotten this far in the stream, and we haven't even talked about Illinois, Indiana yet? Like, come on, you're supposed to be running shit here.
Whatever.
It's a big game. Honestly, you can make a case it's the second best game on the slate tonight.
But this is a gambling podcast. We're not here to talk about the best games on the slate. You know what we're here to talk about? The best bets. And unless you have a great feel about what's going to happen in this game, people are trying to make money here, Jeff. They're not trying to improve their thrill score.
I would say, I don't know. I mean, again, I just like Illinois in this one. I like Illinois. They're giving 2.5. I know it's in Bloomington. I get Trace has done a good job on Big Kofi. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like Illinois.
What's our process for Illinois games? Our process for Illinois games has been: is it a good matchup for Kofi or is it a bad matchup for Kofi? Trace Jackson Davis Last time I checked, he had not attempted a three all season. I'm
It's a good matchup
to see if he has, but that Indiana kind of runs like they don't run a shitload of ball screens, right? Like this is This is a good matchup for Kofi, which means
I think so.
for Illinois, which means like lane 2 in Bloomington is something that I probably want to be betting on. So I like that spot too. We are heavy on the favorites today.
I know. I'm going to give you one more.
Kansas?
No, your Marquette Golden Eagles against Butler at home.
My Marquette Golden Eagles.
Yeah.
How was Marquette mine?
They were embarrassed by the Johnnies the other night. Embarrassed. Wojo's going to take all of his every Coach K tactic that he can take to get these guys in line. They're talented. They're more talented than Butler. They're at home. They were completely embarrassed, undressed. He probably took away their uniforms. They probably weren't allowed to even wear their any apparel in their own apartments because you can't really walk around campus. So they probably weren't allowed to wear anything Marquette in their own apartments the last couple of days. But I do like Marquette given four and change here against Butler at home.
How about the rematch in Madison?
Yeah, I like that too. I kind of like Wisconsin to get some revenge, right? They lost by 10 in Happy Valley. Did they win by double digits here? You don't know.
I don't love it. But that's because I just think Wisconsin's not very good. Like that's where I'm at.
Penn State's so good? I mean, honestly, you think Penn State's numbers are actually pretty good, surprisingly.
Yeah. So my problem, well, it's not really a problem, but like the reason why I don't really like Wisconsin all that much is I feel like they're very much playing a throwback style of basketball to like
SIU Edwardsville playing again today?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, that my bet of the day. There it is. Eastern Illinois.
Fade SIUE.
Getting 3. What is up with that? They're getting 3. SIU Edwardsville, they play every day. I'm convinced they're going to play every day the rest of the season.
Yeah. But I mean, just real quick on Wisconsin, is Penn State has a bunch of guys that can space out the floor. And I just want to be on teams that can space out the floor against Wisconsin. Like, I mean, Maryland did it, made us look smart. Penn State did it, made us look smart. So Ohio State did it, they made us look smart. That's just kind of where I'm at with it.
All right. I got a shovel. I had an appointment at the vet with my dog today. And right now, there's no way in hell I can get out of the driveway. So I got to spend probably a good half an hour.
Good luck. You know what the worst part of shoveling is? When you get down to the bottom, and you have all those big frozen chunks where like the salt kind of melted the snow a little bit and then it froze together. And then
I try to plow through it. I just try to go over that. I'll shovel so I can get some traction. And my wife's got a Jeep Wrangler, so I'll probably take that today. And I have an SUV also. I'll shovel enough so I can just try to just pound through it. Just hit the gas. Hope nobody's coming, on the street as I come back out of the driveway and just go.
Good luck with that, Jeffrey. I hope you don't get your car stuck.
Make sure you check Bet Spurts. I'll probably add to my early ones here, which again, let me run through them because I don't even remember them. I like the Iowa under. I like Auburn. I like Auburn under. I like Marquette. What else do we like?
I have Auburn -9. I have the Auburn under.
Yeah.
I have Iowa -10. I can't put it in on Bet Spurts, but I will be taking the Iowa team total over. I took Texas Baylor under. I took North Carolina -3, and I took Illinois -2.5.
I'm going to take Illinois too. So there's my 5. There's my 5 so far. All right. Listen, enjoy your day. Hopefully it is not snowing where you are. And we will be back tomorrow with hopefully some better news from Robert Dauster, who needs to feel better about himself. So